Hello, I'm Stuart Goldsmith, and today I'm talking to the brilliant comedian Bo Burnham about how he writes his material, what exactly is in his mind as he steps out onto the stage, and his opinion on how comedians go about cultivating fans and followers. If you'd like to hear the full audio podcast of our conversation, you can download that from comedianscomedian.com. That's about an hour. This is just the video highlights. Here's Bo Burnham.
And that's why I first came to Edinburgh, because I was studying comedians online. A lot of comedians shit talk the fact that their stuff gets on YouTube or something, but I watched that's where I saw all these comedians I never would have discovered in America because they're not airing on American television.
Sure.
You can't get their DVDs in America. And I just studied all of these comedians and tried to see, okay, how's this one working? I don't think I'm naturally funny. I don't feel like a funny person. I'm sort of introverted in real life. I'm not the life of the party anywhere at any time. But I felt like I have a keen eye, I think, for what works and what doesn't. So yeah, I think my show is mostly a product of analysis. And what's the challenge in this new hour is trying to inject some emotion into it and trying to feel, because I also did theater my whole life. And I want to be able to lose myself in something that at the end of the day I know backwards and forwards, but
Sure.
how can I? That's the challenge. The guy that plays like Jean Valjean for 20 years in Les Mis. There's the idea like how do you get on stage and lose yourself in this thing? And so that's sort of the same thing for me.
To what extent do you think that, or to what extent do you feel that the character of Bo Burnham on stage is a part that you're playing? Or to what extent do you feel it's a part of yourself you're revealing? What's your relationship to the you on stage?
I think the true me that it's revealing is the me who would want to write this, not the me who's doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I'm.
Let's just could you just sort of clarify that a little bit? The me, just say that again.
I think the main character of the show, or the me in the show, is the person who wrote and created all of this that's happening, because a lot of the times I'm interacting with backing tracks, or I'm playing dumb to a backing track that's speaking to me, and so my stage persona isn't me in that point, but or if you want to try to figure out who I am, it's the one who wanted to kind of do all this. But on stage, I just adapt whatever I think is funny. If it's funny for me to be arrogant at this point, or sad, or silly, or again, I came from theater, so I'm not comfortable doing. I'm just playing myself. It's never been a comfortable thing for me.
So it hasn't been comfortable for you to play yourself?
I never do. I can't do like a chat show.
Okay.
I can't do like a panel show or anything. I don't know how.
Have you tried? Have you tried doing that?
No, I don't get that. I think when I look at those guys that can just sort of turn themselves on, they just I don't know how to be like the funny Bo in regular conversation, because it takes me 3 years to be funny for an hour, So I don't get that, and I'm like, you're going to. I could never objectify myself. It feels objectifying in a weird way to step outside yourself and be this sort of funny guy, that's and then it becomes you, and it's your offstage persona, and then you're people expecting you to be funny, and then you're I don't know, it seems crazy. And then the idea that you'd step on stage and you're just kind of transferring the show to here. You're sort of living the show.
Yes, almost like it's task-based. You're taking...
Yeah, and I know plenty of people like that, comedians like that, and it's amazing to watch. It's amazing that you can be that funny all the time. It would be so exhausting for me, and also I couldn't do it.
Something that is sort of a stock in trade for you is you have, and I know people in the past have sort of said you're like comedy's Eminem, because you initially were working, you did lots of raps, and there was a lot of ironic kind of misogyny and sort of rap speak, kind of really negative, kind of ironic racism, stuff like that. I just wanted to talk about that for a while, given that your audiences can be so young.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you've got to tread carefully as to
Absolutely.
how you say what you say?
There's been a lot of joke controversy in America. I know there's been a lot in the UK too. And what the comedians always do is they always come out and go, "It's jokes, man. It's sorry, this is comedy. There's no rules. Sorry, dude." And I
with less and less success. That defense is working less and less now, isn't it? People are getting pinned down more.
And I'm not for the other side, for the most part. When I hear the articulation of the other side, I'm not for it. But yes, it's ironic racism and sexism and stuff. But irony is not always going to register with people. And also, I don't know if a lot of those jokes that I had were getting the I sort of maybe knew that I was getting feedback that wasn't fully ironic, but I got the laugh and I liked that. Sure. You know, I had a terrible thing that I wrote when I was like 16, and it's on YouTube. I sort of started by posting videos online. And I wrote this song called The Perfect Woman. It was basically about like Helen Keller being like a perfect woman or whatever. And I hated it. And 3 years later now, I think, there's some, if you don't know, Helen Keller's deaf and blind
Sure.
woman, that like some deaf girl in, high school or middle school could have had like one of my lyrics like passed to her on a sheet of paper and felt like shit. And I'm aware of that, and it makes me feel horrible. And I want to be able to stand by my material. I don't want it to hurt people. And I want it to have an effect on someone. I don't value comedy more than anything else. I don't value comedy more than empathy or other people or my own humanity or something. And I feel comedians deify comedy to this giant place where it's like, no, comedy's like taking you and it's leading you to this dark place. I've always heard that. It's taking you and it's leading, and it's telling you this dark place is safe. Really? Is it always doing that? Or is it sometimes like you said the word Jews and now I'm laughing? Or you said, I'm not, that feels like such an easy answer to give. And I'm not saying it's the other one, but I'm just not giving an answer yet. And I don't think people struggle enough with that. And then they look at people that are brilliant, like, Louis C.K. or these giant people that can talk about such intense subjects, and they say, well, he can do it, so I can do it. But that's the sushi chef with that deadly whatever thing that you can kill you.
The deadly whatever.
What is it? What is it?
It's some
like
sort of
sea
puffer
urchin?
fish or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not. And I have a very, I feel like, offensive show, whatever that means. I just try to look at, is this going to cause people to be better or worse? After leaving, is it going to make the world a better place or not? And that doesn't mean you go out and, because I'm not going to. I don't feel like an authority to go out and tell people like, legalize gay marriage and all this. But I think it's good to encourage people to be silly or to look at the world in a different way. Or I also do think it's amazing to bring people to a dark place and stand there and be like, that is an interesting and artistic thing. And I actually don't necessarily think that comedy is moral inherently. And I think that's the problem. I think it is inherently amoral, and that's sort of the problem. That when you sign up to a comedy show, in the rest of the world and the rest of the arts and movies, everything is noted to death, and it has to be good and it has to be a likable character. I love seeing Jim Jeffries and thinking, this guy's sexist, and I don't agree with him necessarily in what he's saying, but he is so funny and articulate. It's amazing for me to hear an opinion that I think is maybe not even close to what I think, but to be articulated in an amazing and funny way is very compelling artistically. I just look at a lot of people my age that have done very well and stuff, and I see how they're dealing with it and doing well with it, quote unquote. I'm like, I don't think I want to be that person. I don't think I want to have that mindset, because that'll just make me blind to things, like people managing their fans. I love my fans. Like, my fans, the best fans in the world, guys. Are they? Because they buy your shit and fund your houses, you douche. Like, of course you love your fans. Like, loving your fans is the most ridiculous, I hate, fan from, like, fanatic. It's a crazy term and insane, it's like people like your stuff for... Your most diehard fan thinks of you 0.1% of their life. They're not your fan. They're a person that, once in a while likes your... I don't hear anyone else calling people like, I don't know, customer, which even is terrible, sounds less bad than fan to me. Have you
ever approached the business side of cultivating an audience? Have you ever done that?
Yeah, this whole
strategically.
This whole talk has been a very strategically planned, sort of sellable, arty guys into this stuff. No,
but I mean, now for a lot of club comedians, there's more and more now that social marketing has become not just a fad, but something that has proven results again and again. There's now almost like cottage industries of people going, I can help you, a comedian, how to engage with social marketing.
Yeah, I think a problem is that like self-promotion has taken the top spot in comedians' priority for young comedians, like the priority. When I think that good material promotes itself, I know that sounds a little, but it is. I mean, that's certainly the most important thing. And if you're self-promoting and you don't have good material to direct them to, nothing's going to stick.
Sure. So thanks for watching that conversation with Bo Burnham. If you've enjoyed this video, please like it, click like on it. You can subscribe to it, or you can share it with someone that's new to the show. And remember, you can get the full hour-long audio of our complete conversation from comedianscomedian.com. See you next time.